Welcome back to Aussie Bucking. Today we're in the bee yard, checking on the nukes that I found the queens after having that bad run with the bad weather in the last episode. And I'm just going to check on these two little hives here to see if they're still alive. I've been feeding them up, as you can see. That's how I feed them. I'll show you later how I make all that up. And anything that's a bit too light on, anything that's a single box and not for honey production, has got a container on them. You can see them scattered through the yard, and I've taken some off already. But yeah, this is what I've been doing. So I'm just going to do a check now to see what's happening. So strong numbers straight up. At the top they've been feeding, which is good. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. I'll just give it more smoke here. So numbers are all right. They're a bit flighty. The mood's not great. So might not have a queen here. We're going to find out. Gentle as I can. But the sugar's definitely working. I've checked one before there, and lots of new nectar going in. So there's the old brood there. We have. You can see that in there. She's looking for eggs. You can see grubs. I'm fairly sure there's a queen here. Just can't see any eggs right now, that's all. Yes, there's eggs. So that one's been successful. Just very gently turn that over. So this was one that was in big trouble. The little tiny, if you remember the one in the last video, that little tiny cluster that we found. One of the boys, my sons, found. And we threw some frames of brood into this little box here, little 4-frame box. And some workers with it. They'll be all nurses, not foragers mainly. And it's come back alive. It's looking really nice. So I threw some feed straight onto them. See if I can find the queen one-handed. Yes, it's got a lot of weight in them now. There's as you can see, the sugar's working. I would have had some honey in these frames I gave her for a start, but there's all new nectar going in also. So we've had some good weather. I think we had 5 inches after I did the last video, so that rain coming along, we got 5 inches in a couple of days, which make it absolutely soaking again, but we've had some good weather since. So we're fighting back now. So this is looking really nice. I can't see the queen. I won't bother too hard to find her. So only one hand. I don't want to kill her after all the work we've done and trying to survive her on. So I'll just gently put it all back. And you can see there's good numbers, good brood. There's eggs here, so we're all good. So a quick look again, look for the queen. And it won't be long if I could put another. She's still got another. That's hers there. So she's only got about another 10% left, and she's empty. So they've used, there's a 3-litre container that there is. So they've used in that, I've probably have it 2 weeks now on them, and they've used all that up and got really strong out of it. So this is the way you try to fight back by feeding them. So I'm just doing an assessment now of how they're all travelling after giving them the sugar, feeding them up, and I'll try to do an assessment of them to see how strong they are. So if I need to feed some more to them. So I'll go check the other one. There's 2 of them, so I'll go check the other one now. So as I was searching for the one I was looking for, the second one with the queen problem, I found another hive too high with one excluder. And the signs are there. If people look at the front, they'll see this sort of thing, just weird stuff at the front, and not very clean, not much activity. And straight away you should recognise there's something wrong. When they are looking like that there, all the way along like that, it's quite normal. But coming back to this one here, the activity is not great. And you got that at the front. These are all signs you've got to know and pick up from, that there's something wrong with that hive. But as I went through it, I found this is the honey super here, and I did mark her with 2 rocks. This one here was I felt them by hand at the back, and I weighed them all just by giving them a little pull up, just like this here, and you can feel them, the weight of them, and you get an idea of how heavy they are and if they need help, either feeding or just giving more brood, whatever they need to keep them going. But on this one here, I ran out of containers to put on her, and I had her marked with 2 rocks. So I'll just put the rocks in my pocket. These 2 rocks here. So I said, well, I better check her out. Then I look at the front. Yeah, there's a problem. So I open up, and she's got brood. I found the queen. I think she's here somewhere. I'll just have a look for her again. She might have gone underneath. Yeah, I'll just have a quick look. No, can't see her there. So she's probably hiding on the bottom. This is one here, so it's a little bit hard, difficult. But she's laying, but they've got no food. She's not a big layer, and the queen might be failing. But the hive beetles are quite bad in here. I've got a trap in here working, but sometimes they need help. The bees do. Yeah, she's right there running around. You can see her. She's right there. So I know I've got a queen. I know I've got eggs. She's a bit fissy right now. I'll put her back in. But what I plan to do is put feed straight on her. Reduce her down completely to 1 box. Take that honey super off. Make sure that they've got a hive trap in there ready to go, and probably put 2 in her to help her out, and start feeding her up, and she'll recover this one too. Then I'll go search for that second one I was looking for before, but I've got to fix this one up first. Part of being a beekeeper. This is the hive beetle trap here. You can see that it's been working. It's been doing its job. The people don't use these things, they would have grabbed them. They're pretty good, they work. You know, it's all the defence we can really give them. There's other ways of doing it. There is sheets you can buy that you put them between the frames, and I've never tried them, to be truthful, but I just don't want to get a queen stuck on one. That's my always thought, but I just don't know enough about them, so I stick to these. They're cheap, and I get a second run. I clean them all up with hot water and give them a good rinse out, and I reuse them, so they are reusable, not just throwaway items. So that'll go back in there. Let's get rid of that little bit there. Just like that. I'll put it down properly. So these are the containers I use. I don't know if you can see that. A bit hard one-handed, especially when you're half blind like me, but you drill a little hole in here, about a 2.5mm hole, and that's where the bees suck out of. Well, they actually just draw it. They lick their little tongues in there and they draw it out over time. But what happens is, the lid's got to be on tight, and I make this here so you can access through the top here. This is how I feed them. Rightio. What you do is just tip it upside down, and it'll cause a vacuum. It'll start dripping out, and it's actually pouring a little tiny bit, because this has got a bit more surface area here where it's got air on the top. It'll draw in and start falling through, and then once it builds a vacuum, it'll stop leaking. If we go to the front, we may see some pouring at the front. This is what's going to pull this little hive back together. It'll really boost them up. They're getting pollen. I can see some pollen coming in, but there's just no nectar yet. We're still waiting for that flowering to come on with the some gums that are about to come, and some other trees that are also almost coming in too. So, but in the meantime, I've got to clean this one up. No, nothing coming through as yet, so it's pretty well taken straight up now. But you generally do see a little bit of leakage coming through. But I'll put the rocks back on her and keep an eye out and make sure she's advancing on by feeding her. I just stole that bucket from another little brood, sorry, not a brood box, but a little nuke, and that had had enough. They were pretty full already. Not that many numbers in it, but they had plenty of nectar inside, so I pulled that one from it. No, nothing coming through. Just a little drip there. That's it. Because there's a void between the lid and the rim itself, the bees, like it's got a 10mm rim, whatever, 12mm rim, the bees can get up inside there, through there, and feed from there. So this is the other hive here. I'll open her up and see what if there's any queen. So it's looking very good so far. You can tell there's a queen. They're nice and calm, good numbers. So the first frame, got the queen. You can see her. Just trying to find myself. She's there, just trying to get back. The phone and her at the same time is a bit hard. There she is, right there, if I can get it right. Yeah, there she is there. So everything looks good here. So we'll survive both of them hives. So this is the way you can do it if you're in trouble. Throw them some frames of brood, throw them some frames of honey, supplies for them to eat, and throw some 50-50 sugar, water, and feed to them. And this is the result. You can get them back again. So I hope this little video has helped someone anyway. If they have their bees that are in trouble and starving, and the resources or the situation where the weather is bad, this is a way of that I know of feeding them sugar and water, 50-50 ratio, and feed them through the top like I do. I don't entrance feed because entrance feeding creates robbing, and all the rest of the bees know that they're getting some sugar water, and next minute they're starting to rob inside. So through the top, I find is the best way to do it, and it's a pretty simple way of just drilling a hole the right size and getting those little plugs that we use. You see, I think they're a 19mm, not overly sure on that, but yeah, drill a hole in the top and put your feeder on top with that little 2.5mm hole, and that'll be able to feed your bees when you need to feed them. So I hope this has helped you in some way to do it, because they do need the help, and it's the same as any livestock. I always say, if it's cattle or sheep, when there's no grass left in the paddock, you need to either bring them in hay or you need to shift them where there is grass. So with bees, it's just a matter of feeding them sugar water, and sometimes you've got to give them some pollen too to get them through if there's no pollen around, so that you can get supplements of pollen, very good stuff, that can help them also, and they really thrive on that. So I hope you enjoyed the video and hope it's helped out someone, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next round.